Hi, I'm Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio, and today's block is an album variation block. This is another block out of our sampler block of the month top, and we're going to try a few things on design work for quilting this block. First thing I want to do is, if you notice, this block has a really large centerpiece. This isn't divided up. So what I want to do is to mark my center point. And I'm going to do something a little bit different. This is going to be kind of a petal, but we're going to put a point on this petal. And it's just going to go out to the corners. Now if you're like me and you have trouble matching up one side to the other, this one may be a challenge for you, and this may be one you'll want to draw out ahead of time. So this is all free-handed, so it's not perfect, but it'll give you the idea of what I'm going for here. Now for the outside points, I just want to do a continuous curve. And then I want to kind of copy this design here, but I'm going to do it like this. And do that in those triangles. And for the outer squares, I think we'll do a continuous curve. And you notice this is looser quilting. It won't take up a lot of time. It'll go pretty fast for you. Okay, now I want to treat the square as like a square and a square, so we'll see what we can do with that. We'll start in quilting in a design like here. Now we're going to go to the center here and then quilt another square. And then if you want, you can come in again and do one more. So you have a square and a square there. And for the outer points, several things you could do. You could do the continuous curve. You could put in a loop. You could put in, let's see, let's come over here. Let's put in a swirl. And try and get those swirls going in the same direction. And you could just do the straight outline stitch. And you can double that up if you'd like that. Now for our outer triangles, let's do the petal. And for the outer square, we could do something like this. Another thing we could do for these triangles is we could do the feather. Like that. And you can also do the feather in the smaller triangles also. Okay, for this design, I'm going to start by finding my center point, and I'm going to attempt this design here. Now this one is difficult for me because you have to reverse it, and I don't always do well in reversing things, but we'll see how this goes. So if you're like me and you need to take your time, there's nothing wrong with that. So we have this kind of a floral design here. For the outer points, let's just do a continuous curve. I do the continuous curve a lot in star points. I think it's pretty effective. I do that, or I'll do a straight line quilting in here. So we have that. One thing you could put in here would be some hearts. Or if you'd like, let's do this kind of a petal and come up and put like a ribbon in. Ribbon on the sides. Like that. That's another idea. For these outer squares, let's do the continuous curve. Okay, what if we want to feather this design? I'm going to do a real quick spin feather here. I'm going to make this one fairly large to kind of speed things up, and depending on your top and how you're quilting it, you may want to make these petals smaller or even larger. Either way would look nice. And we have that in the center. If you want to petal or feather your points, you could do that. These would be a little bit smaller just because the space is smaller. And you could also feather out here. You could do the same thing. This is your seam line here. So you could feather the whole thing if you wanted to. And you could also feather in here. You could do another little spin feather. And you can make this round or you can make it square, and by that I mean filling in the feathers so that they reach your corners, or you could do that as a circular design. Just kind of give yourself some guidelines so that you know where to end the tips of your feathers. You could also just do a crosshatch here. And as I've mentioned in some of the previous videos, depending on how you put your top together, for me anyway, that determines what I put in the outer sections in the background, because if these are going to be butt up against each other or even separated with sashes, I want it to look like a cohesive design, so that I will probably do the same thing in these background pieces in each quilt, so that each block, so that way it would look cohesive. But that's all personal preference, and whatever works for you is what you need to do. So I hope this gave you a couple of ideas on what to do with this album variation block. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links. And to keep up with my newest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.